Good morning, Ms. Furlow. Ma'am, you're charged with terroristic threat. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to be probable cause.
Officers were dispatched to a residence in Harris County, Texas in response to a disturbance. The complainant stated they were in their car and backing out of their driveway when the defendant parked behind them. The defendant then got out of her car and started banging on the complainant's vehicle while shouting obscenities and threats. The defendant also tried to gain entry into the complainant's vehicle. Specifically, the defendant stated she was going to whoop their ass, and the complainant stated they were in fear for their lives during the incident. The officers discovered the defendant is a coworker of one of the complainant's family members.
Owner, boss.
So the threat is what?
The threat is she was banging on the door and said, "I'll whoop your ass."
I have it on camera.
Ma'am, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with this person and not to be in possession of weapons, okay? What do you do for a living, ma'am?
I own a fleet company, 3 trucks, and they're my drivers for the road, my OPR drivers.
Okay.
So they just basically stole my vehicles.
We are going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to have you go to Victoria, sign and reset. We'll have you take a seat in the jury box while we get your bond conditions. We'll have you sign it, and then you'll be free to go. When you come back, please have a lawyer, okay?
Okay, but I move out of state next month, so I just talked to them.
We'll have you sign a reset, and then we'll just take a seat while we get your bond conditions. We'll have you sign the bond conditions, and then you'll be free to go, okay? Please. If you can file no contact, no weapons.
This part is funny, as this terrorist has gotten up in front of the judge and made herself out to be a businesswoman and not some ghetto hoe. And now she starts making noise about wanting legal aid and a public defender. It's gold.
No. You don't, you got to qualify. You got to be indigent.
Well, you didn't offer me. I can qualify. You didn't offer it to me.
Well, you say you run a business, you've got 3 cars.
You asked me why, what were they? They were employees.
I'm not going to argue with
you. That doesn't mean
you.
I have $1 million to pay for attorney, so I can't afford one. If I can't afford one, I can't point it to my phone. This is all. Thank you. Thank you.
If you talk to me like that again, I'm going to hold you in contempt. Do you understand?
As the saying goes, you can take the hoe out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the hoe.
Hey, you can just... No.
Hi, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Hello, I'm Curtis Claude.
All right. So this is the People versus Curtis Clauden.
Waive the reading of the complaint, stand mute. Your Honor, for the court's information, Mr. Clauden indicated that he did not appear in court because around that time he had moved out of state. He went to Illinois. He had another matter there. He reports that he was incarcerated there for a time, and he came back here to the Michigan area. He is now gainfully employed. I don't believe he's a flight risk, Your Honor, even though this is an old case. I'm asking for a personal bond and, if necessary, a GPS tag.
All right. Well, here's the problem with that is Mr. Clauden was arraigned. I better not guilty plea on his behalf, but here's the thing. If he was arraigned on this and was in 20 and would have been given his court dates immediately. So it's not, you know, when it's this type of charge, it's given to him on the record. So the fact that he chose to move out of state after he was advised that he had court dates and was arraigned on a felony, quite frankly, would be considered absconding and a violation of his bond conditions. You can't leave the state when you're on bond. I assume I could, a matter of fact, I'm 99.99999% positive that would have been, oh, look at this. You were arraigned on May 15th of 2020. You were not allowed to have any weapons. You were given a personal bond. You were also told no leaving the state of Michigan while this case is pending.
All right.
Don't talk.
Sorry.
And that you failed to appear for that date. And then you failed to appear for your exam. And so the case has been pending. There were documents that were filed in 2022. These look like. So he was aware, so he violated bond, he absconded, and then he presumably had a case out of someplace else while he was gone. A lengthy history of assault crimes. Did you get a chance to see this? Did you get a chance to see this? Do you know what this is, sir? That's your criminal record. It's like. All right, here we go. Sir, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say orally or in writing can and will be used against you. The next date will be your preliminary exam. At your preliminary exam, the prosecutor must prove that crime was committed and that there's probable cause to believe that you committed that crime. Based on the lengthy criminal history, the fact that the defendant has absconded, I understand this is not the most serious criminal offense out there. It does involve a weapon. He has prior convictions. He absconded from the court for 3 years. So a personal bond is out of the question. Because I don't know how else I can get him to court.
I'll show up to court. My boss is a police officer. I work for security.
All right, no, Mr. Claudin, you had a chance. It's a habitual third. These are just allegations, but this case has literally been hanging around since May of 2020 because you left and went in. No. You should exercise your right to remain silent. You are not changing my mind, sir. You have a $10,000 cash or surety bond. You're to appear in court as directed. I'm going to say this real slow for you, Mr. Claudin. You can't leave the state without permission of the court. You're not to commit any new crimes while released. You're to immediately notify the court of change of address or phone number. You can't possess or have access to firearms. And you have your dates. All right. We're all set. Thank you.
Now call State of Texas versus Lenny Nixon. You are Mr. Nixon.
Yes, sir.
Does the defendant waive a formal reading of this indictment and arraignment here? And can we proceed in summary?
He does, sir.
In summary, the indictment alleges that was handed up by the grand jury on August 9th of 2023 that on or about June 25th, 2023 in Jefferson County, Texas, he committed the first-degree felony of aggravated robbery. Do you understand what you are charged with?
Yes, sir.
If convicted, you face a term of life imprisonment or any term of not more than 99 years or less than 5 years in prison. And additionally, you may be assessed a fine up to $10,000 if you understand. An agreement has been reached. You would be pleading guilty based on deferred or unadjudicated probation. This can be in up to 10 years in length, fine $500. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, sir.
If I follow this agreement, you have no right of appeal of your case. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to this indictment charging you with this first-degree felony of aggravated robbery, guilty or not guilty?
Yeah.
Yeah, did then and there, in the course of committing theft and with intent to obtain or maintain control of property, you intentionally and knowingly threatened or placed a person in fear of imminent bodily injury or death, and you used or exhibited a deadly weapon, namely a firearm.
And Your Honor, we've gone over, there are co-defendants and we're pleading guilty. We are a party. We aided, abetted, solicited, or comforted others. So.
In what way?
Well, another person that was an older gentleman stole the gun from that guy, and Mr. Nixon was actually standing apart from them, and then he walked back around, and that guy gave the gun to Mr. Nixon. And those other guys were older than him, but they were all together. It's all on video surveillance. They were older, and that's why I think Mr. Hamm was given the offer. I think there
was co-defendant who was also given this very same offer.
That's correct. But it was the co-defendant that actually stole the gun and pointed the gun. Mr. Nixon did not. They just handed off the gun to him. So I think he would be more as an accessory to the fact.
Okay, it says multiple black males were wearing ski masks with guns and took his gun. Was he wearing a ski mask?
He wasn't.
Is that right?
It's all on video. Yes, every bit of it is actually in video.
Your Honor, this is
What did he knowingly and intentionally do wrong?
He took the gun that he knew was just stolen with the gun.
Was he with the group of guys?
Well, they were all standing right there by. I'm answering for him, but he.
I know, but we're talking about first degree felony, you know.
I understand. You know.
My understanding is it was a party, Your Honor. And that's why the offer of notice is Mr. Ham's case, and he's in drug court. The notes in my review of the file was.
And this was just days after his 17th birthday.
It says, okay, in the complaint, it says investigation and video surveillance reveals a group of males, including Nixon, waited for the complainant to exit the store before stealing his gun out of his pocket and pointing multiple guns back at him. Nixon then received the gun from the male that initially took the gun from the complainant. All that true?
He did not point a gun at anybody, Your Honor. It's hard to describe, but it is actually.
Was he with the group though, waiting for?
He knew the
With the group.
friends. And
Okay.
they were sitting there. The other
Okay.
three persons had masks on, and he went over
I
and
guess
spoke.
the question is, why would you do such a thing? Anyway, over a gun? Really? And you were how old now?
I'm 17, sir.
When did you turn 17 before this event?
June 8th.
Uh-huh. This occurred on June 25th.
Yes, sir.
Are you kidding? You couldn't wait to become an adult so you can be involved in a crime involving a firearm?
Jeez.
That's terrible. That's a terrible way to start adulthood, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, he does work. He is participating with IEA, and his mentor is here and present. He's got a monitor. I've been in close contact with his family. He can successfully complete this probation. He is a non-violent person.
That's not according to this indictment, he isn't.
I understand, Your Honor, but his involvement is what I said.
I understand, but it still doesn't, you made a bad choice,
Yes, sir.
which is what seems to happen all too often in this room. How do you plead to this? Are you pleading guilty voluntarily and because you are indeed guilty?
Yes, sir.
Anything else to add?
No, Your Honor, we're just asking the court to follow the.
If not, I'm going to find you were pleading guilty today voluntarily, a felon. That would follow you the rest of your life,
Yes, sir.
where you're facing life imprisonment as a potential punishment. Even though there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to defer any finding of guilt and place you on deferred or unadjudicated probation for 10 years. You must pay a fine of $500. It will be, I guess you were arrested in this. How long did you stay in jail?
1 day.
How did that work out for you?
I don't want to go back.
Well, as a condition of probation, I can place you in jail for 6 months, day for day. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm going to do. This is a crime of violence, and far too often people make bad choices. But right here, aggravated offenses, violent crimes of violence are going to be dealt with. You know better.
I love how Judge Stevens come to the party bringing the drugs that are a downer for the bad guy. This guy didn't like one day, and now he has 179 more to think about, which is what should happen to everyone facing a life imprisonment punishment if they screw up. Negative reinforcement. Pavlov's dog. It works on any animal except the really dumb ones.
And people are tired of being victimized by a group of thugs like you were part of. You made a bad choice. Put people in fear of their life.
Your Honor, we would ask that you suspend the 180 days. I don't think the guy's actually stole the gun.
Yeah, let's be soft on aggravated robberies. No, I can appreciate where you're coming from, but no, we're going to set examples here. People are fed up.
You know, he does have an ankle monitor.
Okay.
That's something that can be removed.
Yeah, we don't have to do that. Are you in school too?
I graduated.
No, it's a terrible place. It's a terrible place. I can't imagine.
He is working.
1 day, much less 6 months. Do you see anything unfair about this? Nobody wants to go to jail, but you brought that on you with a bad choice and running around with a bunch of other people who make foolish choices. robbing people, stealing guns. Let me tell you, you're old enough to kill somebody by foolish behavior or hurt people. Okay. All right. I just want you to know we're taking firm stances and we're setting examples. We're tired of it. This is just the kind of stuff that's you think would be in somewhere else, but too often it's happening here. That is all. Thank you.
If you are new to my channel, please subscribe as I edit these cases and remove all of the mundane, boring, repetitive stuff. And I even remove the silences, so you get only the juicy bits, which I think are always the best bits. Are looking for another episode that has all the boring stuff cut out and gives you just the good stuff, then here a couple that may interest you. Enjoy.